There's a fish, guys. It's huge. It's something really big. Oh, good bass. So I'm at that point, guys, in terms of how I've got the reel adjusted, where you're kidding me. Another one. Welcome back to Cross Country Bank Angler. It's an overcast, kind of rainy-ish. Well, it's raining right now anyway. It hasn't been for most of the day, but kind of an overcast day in my area. Late summer. And, you know, originally I wasn't really planning on doing any fishing today. You know, I went yesterday with my dad and it didn't really pan out. You know, we tried for a few hours at a nearby state park. Yeah, you know, these conditions are just a lot better for fishing, especially this time of year. You know, if you have an overcast or like cloudier day in the summer, and that's usually a good sign for the fishing. You know, that usually turns the fish on a little bit, especially if you've had some really hot days preceding it, and we have. So I'm going to go down to one of my local ponds and try to do a little bit of fishing, but obviously I'm not there right now. And the reason for that is because as part of our fishing trip today, I'm going to be testing out a new bait casting reel. This is a random, you know, off-brand Baitcaster that I got online. It was just $28. The brand is called Fish Drops, I think. Fish Drops. Definitely seems just like a Chinese brand. It's a $28 Baitcaster. So I'm going to, you know, let's take a closer look at some of the aspects of this reel. I'm going to actually get some of my other Baitcasters out to kind of compare it with. So we're going to talk about this reel a little bit more, its features, how it feels, and then we're going to try to catch some fish on it. Alright people, so on the left we have the new reel that I'm going to be discussing today from Fish Drops. The only designation that I can see for this reel is SC120RC, so I guess that's what we'll call it, the SC120. And then I've just got my Abu Garcia Max Pro as just kind of like a comparison basically with this reel. So we need something to kind of compare with it. So looking at this reel initially, you know, first impressions of it, it's not a particularly compact reel. It's not super low profile. You can kind of see there that there's definitely just a width difference here between these two and a height difference as well. This one's definitely got a bulkier profile, just taller overall, not particularly sleek or form-fitting, really. But you know, this is a $30 reel. You know, if you're looking for a reel at this price point, you just want something primarily that's just going to cast well, and that's really the main question about this thing, is how it's going to perform. But other aspects here, this reel feels pretty hefty. The frame is graphite, the side plates are graphite, typical for what you're going to find for this price point as well. These very inexpensive reels. And let's see, it has as you can see down here, it's got a 10 ball bearing system. It's actually more than most of the other reels, or actually all the other reels that I use. But you know, it's not necessarily about how many ball bearings you have. It's, you know, are they protected, are they shielded, and are they in the right places here. So the handle on this reel got these round knobs. That was kind of part of what intrigued me about this one, was the round knobs. It's EVA material, and you can see there's definitely some ball bearings in those handles, which is nice. Aluminum handle here, aluminum drag star, which does click, which is good. Other things I'm noticing here, the thumb bar here is kind of a U-shaped thumb bar. Just a piece of plastic here, nothing fancy about that at all. Not particularly nice feeling, but not particularly terrible feeling either. It does have a little bit of play. So that's something to be aware of. It does wiggle a little bit. Not super snappy, but overall relatively minor here. All right, here is the spool tension. This is no clicking spool tension. That's something that the Baitcaster definitely does have, which is a nice feature for making more precise adjustments and keeping it from getting misaligned. So, but it does have, a good grip texture here, so it's easy to grab onto, and it's not going to get bumped out of alignment necessarily super easily, I don't think. Another thing I'm noticing about this reel is the spool on it. It's quite a deep spool. I think this is going to have more line capacity than some of my other reels. Like, this is almost like a 200 size spool in terms of line capacity, I'm guessing, but I'm not really sure. We'll have to see, but I don't think I'm going to necessarily fill this thing all the way to the very top. On the side here, you can see a magnetic brake dial with number indicators around the edge. I think that's a nice feature for beginners, for making adjustments. So 26 clicks on this dial here, 26 positions that you can adjust with. That's pretty solid for a magnetic reel, magnetic brake. You can open the side plate here, pushing this down and pressing down on it there. You can see the brake system, 5 magnets right there. Pretty basic magnetic brake as far as I can tell. Here's that spool again. Like I said, kind of a deeper spool than some other reels. See, the line guide on this reel is just kind of an oval shape. It's not a funnel or anything like that. I think it does actually say funnel shaped line guide on the ad for this reel. As far as smoothness, I don't know if you can hear, there's just a little bit of kind of gear engagement sound. It's not super loud or anything, but it is there. It's not like the smoothest reel in the world. Definitely doesn't compare to the Max Pro, which makes no noise at all on the retrieve, and is definitely the smoothest Baitcaster that I currently own. Despite the fact that this reel is kind of bulkier and sits up higher and is wider and chunkier, the weight on these two reels is actually, I think, exactly the same, 7.4 ounces. So that's pretty, I think that's kind of just average for a baitcasting reel. Nothing special about that. Nothing great, nothing bad, just kind of average. See, the other things to note here, this has a 7:0 to 1 gear ratio, as you can see there. That's a pretty similar speed to all of the Baitcasters that I have right now, so shouldn't be much of a difference there. So overall, this reel, from, it is a bit chunky and unelegant looking. Not going to win in the looks department, although I don't mind the matte black finish with the red accents. I think that looks all right. But it's chunky, it's kind of clunky looking compared to, say, the Max Pro. But the next thing is just, I just want to see how this thing casts. Can I catch some fish on this? I think it should work. The main question with these cheaper reels isn't necessarily can they cast, it's how long will they last before something gives out on them, right? So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and spool up some line on this and take it out to the pond. I use 15-pound copolymer on all my Baitcasters right now. I may try some other lines in the future, especially, if this one really does have a lot of capacity. This could be a reel to put like some heavier line on, throw some bigger baits. If it seems like it, has decent durability and it holds up well. I don't remember the max drag pressure on this reel at the moment, but for me, I don't lock my drag all the way down, so that's not a huge concern. I don't, expect to do any really hardcore, flipping and pitching or like frog fishing, really powerful techniques that strain your reels with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and spool this up and we'll get back to the pond, guys, and see if we can catch some fish on it. Alright guys, so this was an area where we caught some fish last time, but I don't know if they'd be in this little cove this time of year. But we're gonna make a couple casts regardless. Alright guys, so I've got another chatterbait tied on here. This is the chatterbait mini. It's got a smaller blade on it, 1/4 of an ounce. I think this color's just called like brown or brown and black. It's basically just a brown skirt, which I think could imitate a crawfish or a bluegill. And as a trailer, I've got the Bass Pro Shop Speed Shad, that swim bait, 3-inch size. The color is male perch. That's my favorite color in that swim bait. Got it rigged upside down. A lot of guys say if you're using a swim bait as a trailer, then you should rig it upside down. Allegedly, it interferes with the action of the chatterbait itself if you don't. So, don't know if that actually makes a difference, but I'm trying it for right now. This is actually my first time trying this bait overall, and it definitely makes a different vibration. It's lighter. It's not shaking the rod quite as much. The blade is thinner. Which might help it start up a little bit easier. There's another angler over here, guys. This place does get some pressure, I've noticed. Not necessarily a ton, but could be a factor in why something like a chatterbait doesn't work out here. It's too aggressive. The fish have been caught by it too many times, so forth and so on. But with these clouds out like they are today, I think we should be able to figure out something that these fish will... There's a fish, guys. He smoked it. It's not a big one, but... Alright. First fish, guys. On the mini chatterbait. The 1/4 ounce mini chatterbait caught a fish. Alright, here's a bass. Right as I was saying, we'll figure something out. There he is, man, he's warm. This water's still pretty warm. He's about 10.5, maybe 11 inches, not a big fish. Maybe a bit smaller than some of the ones that I've caught here before, but it's a start. First fish on the new reel, guys. I'm gonna get a quick picture and let him go. That was the first time I've tried that mini chatterbait, and I like it. I like it so far. I like the lighter vibration. I think sometimes the full-size chatterbait can feel a bit overpowering, but I mean, I know that the full-size one works too. All right, guys, let's let this fish go. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate that hit. I certainly do. All right, let's make a few more casts, guys. We were retrieving along, paralleling the bank here when that little guy hit it. So I'm at that point, guys, in terms of how I've got the reel adjusted, where as I'm... You're kidding me. Another one. Okay. Whoa. Hold on, buddy. Next cast, guys. Next cast, paralleling that bank. Almost exact same size as the last one. He hit it, guys. See where these dying weeds are along the edge here, right where they kind of break off here and lead to this wall, right along that corner. He was waiting to ambush. Guys, that mini chatterbait, that thing's doing good. I mean, maybe a full-size one would work too, but I'm not switching now. All right, guys, let's get this one back. Fish number 2 on the next cast. So what I was saying, guys, before I caught that other fish, was that when I'm making these casts, I'm seeing a little bit of line kind of leap up, want to overrun, and I'm able to correct it. I'm able to, you know, use my thumb to slow down when I see those little overruns just with a light pressure. And that's really the sweet spot to me, when you're just on the verge of an overrun, but you can use your thumb to stop it. That's kind of where I want my reel to be, just right on that edge where the spool is close to losing control, but with just a light touch, you can correct it. I'm liking this reel, guys. It's catching fish. I got the drag adjusted where I like it, you know, where just like a strong pull will get it to move. It feels okay, it doesn't feel jerky. That's gonna come into play if we hook into a bigger fish out here. I don't know if that'll happen today. Alright people, so at this point I'm narrating here because the audio in this portion of the video was just terrible. It was a rainy day, so I had to kind of fool with the microphone a lot. But you know, we're making our way around the pond, fishing with this reel. Like it for the most part. And we get, I think, hit right here. I don't know if it was we got bit or we got snagged or what, but it was a big fish. I guess it was a bass. I don't really know, but it ends up getting off pretty quickly there. So yeah, kind of a weird thing. I don't know if we messed up our hook set, or like I said, if the fish was just snagged or what. But you know, a clear sign here that some of the bigger fish in this lake were active. Just run down this stretch of bank with it, and if we don't get any more hits, we'll switch to topwater. Very weird how got a couple of hits. There's a fish. Right as I was saying something about the other bites we got, I got another fish, guys. Definitely not catching monsters out here today, but I'll take it. This is our first fish in a while. All right, buddy, hold on. Here we go, guys. Not big, similar to those others. There are some nicer ones in here, but I don't know. Maybe topwater will bring out some larger ones. But it's been a while since we caught a fish, so glad to see this guy on the hook, even if he's small. See you, buddy. There's a fish, guys. Okay. Fish number 4. They're hitting it really lightly. You know, they're just kind of coming up and sort of vacuuming it from behind. They're not really smashing the bait. And the fish that we're catching here are smaller than average, guys, which is unusual. Let's let this guy go. No markings really on this one, no lateral band. You can see the lateral line very clearly on this fish. It's like a 10-incher, 9.5-incher. See you, buddy. Alright guys, so I actually sliced the paddle off of our trailer here. Didn't seem like it was kind of syncing up well with the chatterbait. You know, it was, that tail was kind of just swinging randomly back there. Here's a fish. Oh, he threw it. So we're gonna just leave this, you know, it's very thin, this little rear part of the tail, and it's just gonna kind of wriggle a little bit with the blade in front of it. We just got another hit from a small one as we were talking there. One off a lot of this, I think it's musk grass, guys. It's got kind of a garlicky scent. Seems to be a lot of that in here. There's a fish, guys. It's huge. It's something really big. Oh, good bass. Oh, that's a good one, guys. Get over here. We got you. Oh my gosh. That's a tank. Oh, look at that, guys. Look at that fish on the mini chatterbait. Dude, look at that. That is a chunk. Okay, I'm recording. Whew. Guys, look at that fish. That's like 2.5 pounds, probably. I'm gonna get down to the water edge here, get my scale out. I want to see how much this guy's weighs. Biggest one I've caught from this lake, for sure. There you go, buddy. Give you some water. This guy fought really nicely, guys. Was not expecting to catch one that big today after all those little dinkers. All right, 2.98, guys. Basically a 3-pounder. Very nice. I'm gonna give this guy some more water, and we'll get a couple pictures and send them back. Beautiful bass. Thank you, fish. We appreciate you. That was definitely a switch up from all those little guys. Thank you, buddy. Just gonna let them sit, rest here in the water. You don't need to throw them back and forth. That does not help the fish recover. All right, there you go. There you go. Swam off strong. Nice. Nice fish, guys. I think that's the biggest one I've ever caught on a chatterbait, and it was that miniature version. All right, people. Starting to get a little dark. It's time to pack things up and, try top water for a while. Been throwing around this new reel. Been casting this new reel. It's inexpensive, $28 Baitcaster reel. The Fish Drops SC120RC. So what are my final thoughts on this thing? So, is this reel particularly refined? The answer is definitely no. I mean, it's kind of a bulky frame, not super low profile. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles that higher end reels have. Some of the main issues that I noticed with it was, one, that squeaking sound that you guys were hearing. So that's something that I'm going to definitely try to address here later today. Maybe I'll go back and take this reel apart and just oil it up a little bit, see if that helps, because the squealing, I mean, it's not necessarily affecting the performance per se, but it's annoying, and usually if something's making a loud noise in a reel, it's not a good sign, right? It means there's some unwanted friction taking place there, probably against one of the bearings. So I'm going to try to see if I can fix that. Hopefully I can fix that. But in terms of the actual casting, guys, this reel did fine. It really did okay. I was able to launch it lures pretty far. I was able to place the lures where I wanted them to go. The speed was more or less consistent with what I expected, 7:0 to 1 gear ratio. So, if you're in a position where, you want to buy a baitcaster, but you don't want to fork out $100 or even $50, then you could buy this thing and you would have a functioning reel. I mean, we were able to catch, we landed a 3-pound bass on it without issue. So the reel definitely works. It's just, not super fine-tuned, not super refined. The other issue here that with this reel has to do with the tension knob adjustment. It's a non-clicking tension knob adjustment, and what would happen is I would set it to a point where the lure was falling, steadily but slowly, and then next time I'd press the thumb bar, the lure wouldn't fall at all. So it's like it wasn't really holding the place that I had it set to. So that was a little bothersome. But like I said, I don't know if it really affected the casting that much. I was able to still get good accuracy and distance and everything. So kind of annoying because I feel like I can't sort of fine tune the reel settings as much as I want to. But the brakes were solid. The magnetic brakes, that 5-position, or 5-button magnetic brake did well. I have it on 5 right now, right in the middle, which is kind of where I usually keep my brakes on some of my reels, or at least like my Cast King Spartacus 2, that blue reel. So the brakes felt very comparable to that one. This reel works. It catches fish. It casts all right. I'm going to try to fix the squeaking sound, but overall, I'm not disappointed one bit, really. For 28 bucks, I have a functioning baitcaster. Maybe I'll try to get like a cheap rod to go with this. Just make like a $60 combo or something. And that can be kind of nice to have, a cheaper setup if you just want to have something that you can kind of go out into, swamps or remote areas, and you don't have to worry about it. If it gets dirty or beat up or something, it's not that big a deal in comparison to something really nice. So that's probably what this will go towards. It'll be part of just like a beater combo that I'll take, swamp fishing, wading, and things like that. So with that being said, if you made it this far in the video, you should subscribe to the channel. Weekly fishing videos here, bank fishing, lure fishing, bass fishing, creek fishing, wading, you name it, I've got it. Thanks for coming along with me again today, and I hope to see you next time.